On this episode of the Modern Travel Agent Podcast, I share 4 tips to help you master your travel agent consultation calls. Number 1, get them on the phone. People will often have excuses as to why they don't have time, but this is why it's important that you're able to explain in simple language exactly what's required and why it's important. For instance, I would always say, it'll only take 5 or 10 minutes, but it's really important for me to pick your brain and understand your wants and needs, because otherwise I'm just going to be guessing and shooting in the dark. I want to make sure I recommend options that'll give you the type of experience that you're looking for. And when your clients insist that they don't have time, it's going to be important that you're able to overcome the objections. For instance, you can use the rule of reciprocity, where offering to do something for them makes it more likely that they're going to do something for you. So often I would say, I totally understand how busy life can be. If it's more convenient on your end, I can actually make myself available during my lunch break. Simply offering a compromise on your end can make it more likely that they're going to accept a compromise on their end. Ultimately, getting them on the phone is an important step in building your relationship with them. Number 2, ask the right questions. The better questions you ask that make them actually think, the more information you're going to have for your recommendations. So you don't find yourself sending over options and having them say, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. It's really important that you help them think through their wants, as people often think they know what they want, but they really don't. Or perhaps they're basing their wants off of incorrect information. This is your chance to hold their hand and guide them through the wants and needs so you can drill down to the most important information. When they don't know what they want, you can simplify by asking either or questions. Are you more of a beach or pool person? Are you looking for a more active or more laid-back experience? Either or questions are much easier to answer. Sometimes, for a variety of different reasons, people don't always want to give you the information. Sometimes clients won't give you their budget because they're afraid that you won't offer a better deal. So in that case, I recommend 2 things. You can change the phrasing. For instance, I would always say, I know it's hard to know exactly how much you want to spend, but what would you say is a ballpark budget you're trying to keep your travel expenses under or around? In cases where I still had clients that didn't want to answer, I would always offer an example. Okay, are you thinking $2,500 per person? They'll say, oh no, that's too much, or yes, we were thinking something around that. Number 3, establish trust and credibility. For starters, kindness will get you 90% of the way there, because people buy from people they like, and being kind and eager to help will do more for your business than knowing every detail about every resort. But of course, sharing your knowledge is important. A lot of agents are afraid to share too much because they feel like they're giving away their value for free. Personally, I think giving knowledge away for free is a great way to build credibility and to secure future business. It's a gesture of goodwill. It's not always going to work. Some people will take the information and run. If you want to charge a planning fee up front to avoid some of that, that's always an option. But even then, you'll likely need to share some of your knowledge to justify the fee. Number 4, stay organized. During your calls with your clients, I recommend taking notes and then emailing them a recap of the call, including what you discussed and what the next steps are. You mentioned you were interested in X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to look into A, B, and C. I will send you your packages by this time today. Once you've reviewed the options, you can email me your thoughts or questions, or we can set up a call to discuss in further detail. And once we've found the right package for you, you can apply your deposit and lock in your reservation. Ultimately, you're not going to remember the details of every call that you had 3 months ago. So having a record of the conversation is incredibly helpful, not just for your research, but also as a protection against them saying you said X or you said Y. It's very important to take notes and to stay organized. As a recap, here are the 4 tips to master your travel agent consultation calls. Number 1 is you have to make sure that you get them on the phone. Typically, you can do that by explaining in simple language exactly what's required of them and why it's important that you have the call. Number 2, you have to make sure that you ask the right questions. Sometimes simplifying into either or questions will help them give you the information that you need to make your recommendations. Number 3, you have to make sure that you establish trust and credibility, not just with kindness, but making sure that you display your knowledge and expertise so that they know that you're an expert. And number 4, you have to make sure that you stay organized. Take notes and document all the details from the call. Email them a recap so you have a record of the conversation. This also gives you an opportunity to tell them what you're going to do, set an expectation, and then follow through. This episode of the Modern Travel Agent Podcast is brought to you by our partnership with Palladium Hotel Group. With over 50 hotels worldwide and 16,000 rooms in Mexico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Brazil, Spain, and Italy, Palladium Hotel Group offers great resort options for vacations of all kinds. Palladium Hotel Group has a wonderful team of business development managers eager to help you learn more about the resorts and how you can partner with them to offer your clients incredible experiences. I've included all of their contact info in this episode's show notes.